The queens walk into the workroom, and when all the queens make it to the entrance, they all strike a pose together before walking over to the table.
It's a new day in the workroom, and after last week's challenge I feel so confident and ready despite only being safe. Getting a call out is probably something I needed to hear, especially from Julie and Bitch the T and Untucked Was team.
The queens all sit around the table and Forrest congratulates Alice on her win. She thanks him and the two hug. Mithra says that Alice is catching up to Forrest, and Forrest says that bottom 2 is slowing her down, getting everyone to laugh.
After last week getting my win, I feel like the finale is just a few steps closer than it was. I can't rest on my laurels, of course I still need to bring my all in every challenge. Despite the finale being right there, it can still be snatched away from me.
The queens congratulate Mithra on surviving the lip sync, and Lemmy says it was very close but he's happy Mithra stayed. Mithra thanked Lemmy, and Sylvester then pipes up saying that 3 strikes and Mithra is out, and points out that Mithra on 2 strikes. Mithra waves Sylvester away with her hand and tells him to get another drink poured on him.
If this ancient beast keeps opening his mouth, I might rip my ears off. A win on episode 1 and a forced top placement doesn't create a sudden diva who can say how he feels all the time.
Lemmy says that he thought Sylvester would melt and is very disappointed it didn't happen. Sylvester flips off Lemmy and says it's really mature for someone to act like this on TV. Lemmy slow claps and is a very obvious fake laugh. Alice eventually cuts Lemmy off and asks if anyone is excited for the next challenge. Sylvester says he's hoping the judges can finally give him a win, and then puts a hand on Alice's shoulder and proceeds to say that he feels that he was a bit robbed last week.
Honestly, I'm so tired of all the drama, and every time I look back on the fight, Sylvester is in the middle of it. I'm not saying something, but I'm definitely implying something.
Xinyan said that there hasn't been a dance challenge and she hopes there will be one soon. Forrest said that the lip-sync slay-off could count for a dance challenge, but he agrees, saying he wouldn't mind a choreography challenge. The queens continue to talk but are all interrupted by production alerting them for the mini challenge.
Hello queens. You might think I'm crazy for checking in on all of you before the mini challenge, but this week we have something special planned this week. Because this week I hope all of you have your reading glasses, because for this week's mini challenge we're gonna be reading each other.
Oh honey, the girls here have some pin-up frustrations with each other. These reads will probably be more personal than shady. If anything, I'll be very entertained.
Now then, let's start with Xin Yen. You're up first, darling.
Sylvester, you really do have it all. The personality, lack of star quality, and my favorite of all, that lumpy sphere you call your face. Everyone give it up for Alice. She's such a subpar actress. She had to win an award for drag before acting so people would know who she is.
Well, okay bitch, you know what, I can't be mad she ate that.
Now Stella, after being in the room for the entire season 1, think we need tranquilizers for these beasts. Forrest, your drag really reminds me of Noor. Needs to be up in flames.
Oh Sylvester, those are fighting words, honey. Unlike him, I actually already won our first fight, and hell, I can also win a war on him too.
Sylvester the cat. You know what they say, cats have 9 lives, but by the looks of it you're on your last. Lemmy, with the looks you've walked the runway, and I'm getting less fashion clown and more bearded man.
You know what, I'll let her have that because she doesn't have more time left. If I am on my last life, Mithra is on her deathbed.
Sheehan, after seeing you on this season, I finally understand the satanic panic of the 1900s. Tweety, oh wait, sorry, that's your puppet. Julius the cat. Oh no, wait, he's blacklisted, oh my god, wait. John Talbot, when did you get so skinny, girl? Still got the essence of a beast though.
No comments.
Mithra, you must get reminders of your hooker days with how much you get down into the bottom position. Xinyan, while your looks are supposed to be distressed, but all I am getting is disaster.
Oh, Forrest was shady with that. I haven't really seen him be reading girls down, but given the fact he's from the ballroom scene, I'm not surprised he can haha.
Mithra, you might be a quote-unquote digital diva, but at most you're giving AI fierceness. Uncannily ugly. Lemmy, look, there's a very hot man in a thong behind you.
Oh my god, where?
See? What a stupid bitch.
Wow, you bitches are shady, but one truly put y'all in their place. The winner of this week's mini challenge is Sylvester.
Me, the shadiest queen here? Yeah, seems correct, haha. All tea and all shade, most of the girls here aren't really good with dishing out shade or even taking it, so makes sense as to why I won.
Now then, my queens this week. I hope you don't hold it against me, because you'll want to be lucky, because how some of you perform is criminal and very circus-like. This week we will be having a dance challenge. However, there's a twist, you will all be lip-syncing to Slave For You by Britney Spears one at a time. Sylvester, as the winner of this week's challenge, you will be picking the order of who will go to lip-sync.
Well shit, It's over Shein Nation. Sylvester with this power is scary not because he's smart and manipulative but because he hates me for some reason. I just hope either by the luck of the draw I get the spot I want by asking, or maybe he puts me in the spot I want.
The queens gather around the table and Sylvester cackles, saying he's going to have fun this week. He first asks Alice what place she wants in the challenge. Alice says she would prefer the second spot before the opener. Sylvester nods and then turns to Xinyan, telling her she's opening the lip syncs. Xinyan sighs and says she'll eat then.
Honestly, Sylvester is kind of crazy putting Shein to open. This isn't a roast, it's a dance challenge and she's a performer. I really hope his plan fails, ha.
Forrest tries to say something but Sylvester cuts him off. Sylvester says that he'll be going fifth with Lemmy going before him so he can upstage him once again. Lemmy just stares at Sylvester, rolling his eyes. Mithra asks if she could go before Alice and Sylvester says she can. He turns to Lemmy again and asks if he could even dance. Lemmy frowns and says no, he can't. Sylvester cackles and says this is his challenge to win then.
So I'm watching Sylvester give everyone their spots in the challenge and I realize something. 1. I haven't been given my spot yet, and 2. The only spot left is the closer, right after Sylvester.
Forrest taps Sylvester on his shoulder and smiles at him, asking if he'll be going last. Sylvester's face cracks and the two have a stare off.
Oh honey, when I tell you Sylvester had the face crack of the century, it was crazy. He's gooped and gagged, and I'll be honest, it was stupid of him to leave Forrest for the last spot.
Sylvester meekly says that Forrest will be taking the last spot and the order is set. Alice wishes everyone luck before walking off to her station and is followed by the others going to their stations.
I'll be honest, while yes, Sylvester is my friend, I think he really let this slip from his fingers. Neither of us are dancers, I'm more of a performer if anything, but I'm not exactly sure about Sylvester.
Alice, Forrest and Mithra are all sat together, all listening to the song. After a while Mithra asks if Alice or Forrest have any choreography to share. Forrest says that he has a few ideas but needs to actually put it together. Alice says she's a bit nervous when coming up with choreography by herself but offers to share what she has and shares it to the two girls.
I know Alice isn't really a dancer, but I'm surprised for what she has. It's pretty good, so I might have to turn it up with my choreo this week.
The three continue to work on their choreo and Mithra starts doing split after split and dip after dip. Eventually Alice walks over to Mithra and asks if she's okay. Mithra takes a few minutes to catch her breath and says she's just stressed.
Honestly, I think that's what I needed to hear. I didn't know Alice was such a motivational speaker, haha. But seriously, he's right. Even if I have 2 bottom placements, that doesn't mean I can't clear this challenge.
Lemmy and Xinyan are sat next to each other, with Xinyan teaching Lemmy a few steps while he is seen struggling. After a few moments Xinyan says she's worried for Lemmy because he looks like a baby deer trying to walk.
Contrary to popular belief, I am actually not a dancer. I'm a circus clown. I don't do this 5,6, 7, 8 bullshit.
Sylvester walks over to the two and asks how their choreography is coming along. The two both glare at him and Xinyan waves Sylvester off, saying he also has to work on his choreo. Sylvester laughs and asks why can't he be congenial with his sisters.
Congenial? Let me laugh. He's doing the most and for what, but whatever, I'll let him think he's playing mind games. This just distracts from the fact I don't think I've seen him work on his choreography maybe once and it was like 8 counts.
Lemmy asks if Sylvester is just going to keep bothering them or is he going to actually do his choreography like the challenge asks for. Sylvester smirks and says he'll be working on his choreography next to the two then and goes to a workstation near them.
Usually I'd say I'm scoping out the competition, but let's be real. Lemmy isn't a dancer and while Xinyan's stage presence is close to zero, the only threat I have is Forrest.
As Lemmy and Xinyan continue to work on their choreography, Sylvester occasionally yells out to them that they're doing things incorrectly or saying it looks ugly. After a while the two continue to ignore Sylvester and begin to work on their runways. While doing so Xinyan yells at Sylvester to shut the fuck up because everyone in the workroom is tired of hearing Sylvester's nagging voice. Sylvester laughs and says Xinyan finally got a good read.
Girl, I can't with some of these queens, I'm not gonna lie. But even if I may not be the dancer to end all dancers, but after hearing Sylvester talking about something along the lines of my choreography is ugly, I'm gonna bury that bitch.
Put the bass in your walk, head to toe, let your whole body talk. And what?
Welcome to the main stage of Cartoon Drag Race Holland. This week I challenge my queens to choreograph and perform a lip sync to Slave for You by Britney Spears. Now then, let's meet our judges. First, our resident judge, the season 1 champion Pave. Are you a fan of Britney?
Given how 2 of her cult followers are here today on the judges panel, I think in fear of my life I'll go with yes.
And next, our 2 extra special guest judges. Brittany and Fender Pinwheeler. Thank you so much for being here on our first ever episode, being into the cartoon Drag Race family.
Well, of course, girl. Watching a bunch of drunk girls doing Britney is funny, but watching a bunch of girls do Britney like their life depends on it for a show is even better.
Yeah, sure, let's go with that. If they don't do good, I will end their careers with a quickness, don't try me.
I'm sure nobody is actually threatened by you, Britney. Now then, let's let the judging commence.
Forrest, Lemmy Koopa and Xinyan slayed the challenge.
I mean, are we surprised I ate? It's a dance challenge and I'm a dancer, but what really gagged me was, Lemmy, that little bitch rolled out on a huge balance ball and did a fucking spinning split off it. Wait a minute, did I just get outperformed by Lemmy fucking Koopa?
Alice Angel had a great performance.
While I'm not a dancer, I know how to work a crowd and keep them entertained. I was giving more of a cabaret experience with reveals after reveals until I was basically naked hot.
Mithra and Sylvester had a good performance.
I think I did fine this week, however watching some of the other queens gag me, and fine at this point in the competition doesn't cut it. Whatever, I just need to breathe.
I think I did better than expected, at least better than Lemmy, who used more gags than a grinder bottom, and Forrest was all tricks, no performance.
Now then, category is Night of 1000 Britneys.
Xinyan slayed the runway.
I fully think this week I ate. For my Night of 1000 Britney's runway, I'm doing her iconic red jumpsuit. This shit is fully rhinestone to hell, and usually jumpsuits are used for mobility purposes, but I can't walk because this shit is so heavy.
Forrest, Mithra and Alice had a great runway.
This week on the runway I am doing the ever so iconic denim dress. I know the judges were eating this up so much, so when I threw my denim purse at them, Britney and Fender were fighting for it, huh?
This week on the runway I am doing Britney's iconic Slave for You performance outfit, and with mechanical snake and all. But also this snake is heavy as hell, please someone get it off me.
Sylvester had a good runway. Lemmy had a bad runway.
This week I'm paying homage to Britney's circus era. Given how most of these queens act, but also look, it's fairly obvious I'd be doing her ringleader outfit, haha.
This week I walked out in a gray hoodie, white denim shorts, an umbrella, and most importantly a razor. As I walk down the runway, I start to shave my head until I'm fully bald. Some say this was scandalous to do bald Britney in front of Britney and Fender, but I say it's iconic.
Now my queens, as you know, with 6 queens left there will be no more safes, so let's just get on to the critiques. First up, Lemmy.
Now Lemmy, I'm gonna be fully honest, you gagged me majorly. I didn't know we allowed props, but when you rolled out onto the main stage on that ball, bitch, I was gagged, and then that split, bitch, I thought you said you weren't a dancer. But for supposedly a non-dancer, this was fucking fierce. I really did feel like the trade you keep trapped in your closet watching you perform, huh?
This runway look is fucking atrocious, probably the worst thing I've seen. Not only did you chose a very dark time, you look a mess. It's basic, sloppy, boring, I'm yawning, this is just ugly.
I really don't care what Britney and her one has to say about my runway. It was camp and she's boring. But on the other hand, I do think there's a small chance I could win this week.
Next, Alice Angel. Now Alice, this is a very strong week, and I do think you were a strong performer in this challenge. However, compared to the others, it was a bit lacking. It was definitely a performance I'd tip, but I noticed at some points you seemed more focused on the reveals than actually performing.
This runway was gag-worthy to me. Thank God I beat Britney for that purse because it's fierce. The details in this look are impressive, almost the exact shade of Britney hair, and even the stoning on the look. This look was just beautiful.
I'm not really sure what to expect with the critiques I was given. While yes, I got very positive feedback for my runway, I would have wished for maybe better critiques on my performance.
Continuing on with Xinyan.
I don't really care for the spooky queen vibe you give, but your performance was fierce. I enjoyed it. Looking at you, I don't really get Britney, which is honestly disgusting, but when you were on that stage I felt Britney, which honestly I think that's most important for this challenge. As a diva who usually eats up all the stage time, you need stage presence, and you definitely have that. I enjoyed it.
Xinyan, this runway is fucking beautiful, like needs to be put into a Britney museum or something. As a Britney impersonator, I'd totally create or wear this, and I'm sure the other girls who would see this in a club would go crazy like I am doing. Not. Xinyan, this runway is fucking beautiful, like needs to be put into a Britney museum or something. As a Britney impersonator, I'd totally create or wear this, and I'm sure the other girls who would see this in a club would go crazy like I am doing not.
Are we not gonna distract from the fact Fender and Britney basically spent most of my critiques complimenting themselves? Oh well, aside from that, I think I did my big one majorly. Oh my god, first when here I come.
Moving on to Mithra. Now I think the performance was honestly just a little bit boring. It wasn't bad, but compared to everyone else I didn't really find myself actively thinking about it after you finished. It was just very baseline drag show.
This runway is honestly up there for me. While yes, it's a Britney look, I think there are different details in the look to make it Mithra, and bitch, that fucking mechanical snake, I was floored when you walked out wearing that thing as a boa ha.
At this point I'm not even surprised. I don't care if I have to lip sync again because I will not be going home after doing all of this here.
Moving on to Forest.
The performance was fierce, I can't lie. One thing I didn't majorly live for was the fact that it didn't really give me Britney, but when I didn't really care about that I was gagged, especially when you started doing flips, dips and shit like that. I'm not really in the ballroom scene like that, so I don't really care you can do that, but it was still gag worthy.
Oh shut up Britney, the performance was my personal favorite of the night. She's just bitter that you did a better job than she could ever do. Now looking at this look, while yes it's a little bit basic, however I think this look benefits from the basic.
Well, you heard it her folks, if I am in the bottom it's rigged and Britney hates good drag, I fear.
And last but not least, Sylvester.
I'm gonna be real, I was just a little disappointed. I was gagged. You were the one who won the mini challenge and got to decide the order because bitch you got ended by being sandwiched between Forest and Lemmy. Other than that, the performance was just meh. It was very safe, but since there's no more safe queens anymore, you can't play it safe.
This runway was also just not my favorite. The look you did is such a legendary Britney look and extremely cunty, but somehow you wore almost the exact same look and made it less cuntier. I was there to watch you from the beginning of this challenge and I'm just confused on how you suddenly are now flopping.
I don't know why the judges are gagged. I didn't do great in the challenge. I'm not a fucking dancer. I think it's bullshit I was critiqued because Lemmy and Forrest did better than me when it was about my own performance.
Well queens, me and the judges have made some decisions. Shin Yen, congratulations, you're the winner of this week's challenge. Lemmy and Forrest, good job this week, you two are both safe.
Oh absolutely. I mean come on, get into it, I'm coming for that in-game sweep, girls. I can see it now, first one win and that'll easily turn into 3 challenge wins in a row.
Unfortunately this means Alice, Sylvester and Mithra. I'm sorry my dears, but you are the bottom of the week. Alice Angel, you are safe, meaning Mithra and Sylvester's, you are both up for elimination.
Well, here we go again, back into the bottom, but I've won like 3 lip syncs now and Sylvester isn't no Daphne, so I'm not threatened.
Now ladies, this week I asked you to prepare a lip sync to Every Time by Britney Spears, so for the 2 queens who will be lip syncing like wasted white girls at a club in the judges panel. Good luck and please don't fuck it up.
This song is all about emotions, and what can Mithra do? A crunchy split and a strut across the stage like she's done the past times she's lip synced? Don't make me laugh.
Mithra had a great lip sync. Sylvester had a good lip sync.
I've made my decision. Sylvester Shantae, you stay. Mithra, a true star, you are a legend and icon. We can't wait to see what you do in the future. You proved you're more than just a girl in a duo, now sashay away.
The queens walk into the untucked lounge. Shin Yen walks into the middle of the room and does a little spin, saying that's what the winner of the season looks like. Alice smirks and tells her to sit down because there are still 5 queens left. The queens except Sylvester congratulate Shin Yen on her win. Shin Yen thanked them and said it was overdue for her win, giggling to herself. Forrest hugs her and says she ate the challenge up. Alice then points out how Lemmy surprisingly did very well despite not being a dancer. Lemmy smiles and says he has a lot of tricks up his sleeve. Then Sylvester cuts in asking if bad runways are up his sleeve as well. Lemmy was about to say something, but Shin Yen cuts him off, asking why Sylvester suddenly feels the need to come for queens he was banking on flopping earlier. Sylvester rolls his eyes and asks why Shin Yen feels like she's winning the season after one forced win. Shin Yen stifles a laugh and asks who he would have given the win to. Sylvester then says he would have given it to Forrest, and Forrest thanks him, but he was in the top either way so it didn't matter. Sylvester then says it does matter because there's no way in hell someone as ugly as Shin Yen should win a challenge. Shin Yen then sits up and says it's really funny for Sylvester to be starting shit when he looks way worse than her. Before Sylvester gets up, Alice asks if everyone is going to keep acting like children because she's tired of these petty and petulant fights. Shin Yen nods and apologizes to Alice before sitting down. Alice then looks to Sylvester and he just says he was just saying how he felt. Alice then scoffs and says how he felt was bitchy and rude. She then says it's the final 5 and the judges will probably be looking at the tiniest of details to determine the winner. Untucked ends with the queens being ushered out of the Untucked lounge and back to the hotel rooms.